Hi guys, it's Miloš Comic Guy here. For today we'll be drawing The Dark Knight. I really like Batman, he's always had a special place in my heart. I like every story and I simply like him. He's a great character to me and I like what you can do with him. He's even great when you want to draw him. You kind of have that freedom to draw him like ever you want to, and he's a very flexible character in that way. You can't make a mistake when drawing Batman. I've drawn him as a sketch because I really like to sketch traditionally. I even like to ink traditionally. This was an exception. I color my works digitally, of course, but for sketching and inking, I really like to do it traditionally. I think it is kind of relaxing and it always looks nice. You can do many things with it. Now for this one I was going for the classic Batman style of a drawing, like him watching over Gotham City at night. Nothing so special. In the case of him, I was thinking about doing Jim Lee's Batman from the Hush story, a story that I really like, and I think everybody should read it because it's a really good story. My art style is well inspired by comics, you could tell that. I really like the 90s guys. I really like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Jim Valentino, especially him because of Shadowhawk. And my style was kind of inspired mainly by Jim Lee's and Todd McFarlane's. Todd is a devil in the details, as we know, and I really like him. Like, he never puts too much details in his work. It's always good. You can't go wrong with his detailing. When I'm doing digital art, I like to implement some of my techniques that I usually use when doing traditional art because I like it, I think it looks nice, and well, there's never too much detail that you can add. I like hatching, I like filling in with a lot of blacks, I like it. Uh, Generally, when I'm doing traditionally, I like to use the brush pen a lot, so that's the reason why these blacks in this artwork are like all over the place. Um, I like it. It can look nice and it has a nice feel to it. With these comic book characters, you kind of have some sort of flexibility with your art style, but generally what we associate, what type of art style we associate with comic book heroes, it needs to be somewhat realistic. I don't say that this is realistic, no, but it has to be accurate. It has to be uh, well done. The muscles need to be good, and so on. But still, a style doesn't have to be that accurate to realism just to be good. There are a lot of animations that prove that, like Adventure Time and so on. I mean, style is something that you do that and you think is right. If you think is right, then it works for you. There will always be people who will disagree with you, but there will always be people who will agree with you and appreciate your art. So you should feel free to do what you think is right when you are drawing something. If you make a mistake the next time, well, you think about that mistake and you won't make it. Uh, Practicing is basically the main core of drawing, in my opinion. You should practice and always look and remember your mistakes you've made. I mean, I wouldn't manage to draw these muscles like this if I wouldn't have made so many mistakes back in the day. I sometimes go through my old posts on Instagram and look like, oh, the fingers on the hand uh, are longer than they should be. The one leg is longer than the other. The eyes are a bit crooked, so on. So uh, don't think that you are bad because you make mistakes. Even the best artists make mistakes. So, and if you are a self-taught artist like I am, and well, you you can say, well, I'm learning on my own, so you have even a bigger freedom to make mistakes. Uh, I'm not going to an art school. The only experience with art as a subject I had in school, art class, and my art professor always helped me. He gave me advice on so many things. Like for now, on this background, he said, it doesn't matter how you draw something in the background, just draw it to fill it in. It will look nice. And he was right. He was right. This building isn't something special, but it does its job. It just fills in the space. Well, for the shadows here, I am doing, well, something that generally is done in animations. Like, people, when they do shadows, they usually use black and lower the opacity of the layer. I use different colors: blue, red, purple, because those colors can have an effect on their own. The colors can tell the story on their own. Uh, and it can really look nice. It can add some emotion to the work. As for the highlights, I use some sort of sketchy brush, as I call it, in Sketchbook Pro, and I like it because when you blur it, it's heck of a lot of lines in there, and it looks nice, it feels nice, and everything. When I'm doing highlights, I do two layers. One is the primary and the second one is the secondary, and it's usual to create a gradient of light. Like, the primary is brighter and the secondary is a bit darker, just because to make that gradient of highlights, like a flow of light. Well, we're in the finishing stages of this piece. uh, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you really enjoy this one. uh, if you enjoyed it, like it, leave a comment, subscribe. The link to my Instagram is in the description, and that would be it for this video. I really hope you like it. I hope it was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next video. So, bye guys.